In today's video, we're going to start with a blank chart, and this is a 30-minute chart of IWM, and I'm going to recreate one of the setups that we had, up on the video. So here, what I like to do is I like to look at all possible market retracements that I could run, and then I like to run all possible extensions, basically taking prior, low to high in this case, and then extending downwards. And then I also want to run the symmetry projections and basically see how this current decline compares with some of these prior declines. And that should give us our result as far as trade setup. So I'm going to start by running the symmetry. So this is where we use a three-pointed tool. So we're grabbing a high to a low and then projecting from another high. So let's start that over here. Let's see if this works. High to low, projected from this high. Okay, we're slightly through that one. Then we have this larger swing, high to low, and then there are some swings inside of there. So high, oops, I'm going to do, let's try this high to this low. I think this is probably going to be too small. Maybe not. Yeah, we went through that. Let's try this other high to low. Let's try this high, this low. Here. That one we're actually through also, so let's move on from there. We're going to try this slightly larger swing, high to this low. Okay, and we're pretty much on top of that. We don't need this anymore. Let's try a few of these other swings and compare them. Again, some of them tend to be similar to other swings. That's why we watch them. That one we're through. I may try this one also. High to low, projected from this high. That one we're through, so we don't need that. But we can actually look at this full swing, like this high to this low, see where that comes in. So this high to this low, see where that comes in. Okay, just a little bit lower than that. And then how about anything that's closer? Now these look a little bit too small, but let's try this larger one, high to low, projected from the high. Okay, well, we're a little bit through that, but we have two symmetry projections here that we were on top of right here, right now. So what else are we going to add? Well, let's look and see if there's any retracements. I'm going to run actually the full retracement of the low to the high. Okay, we're through that, so we're going to get rid of it. We can actually try the higher low to the high. Okay, well, then we have a 382 that comes in underneath. There's still a few more swings that we're going to run here. This low to high here. All right, get rid of what we went through, including that one. And then, let's see, let's try this low to high. There's a 618, that is not that far away. And then a slightly higher low to the high. Okay, well, that one comes in below. But guess what? Well, we already have a setup here, but I'm also going to run that last price relationship, which is going to be an extension, and it's only of a minor swing in this case. So, for example, we can look at this low to this high, and we'll see if that also may overlap. So let's grab the retracement tool, low to high. Ah, perfect. And then there's the 1618. So, really nice setup. Today it hit, it held, it would have triggered on a lower time frame chart. For example, a 1 minute chart would have triggered after we tested that support. But let's look at this area as, you can include this if you want, 220.64 to 221.07, or you can look at these two areas separately as 220.91 to 221.07. And then this one, which would not be officially a setup because it's only two levels, but you have a 382 and a 618 between 220.64 to 220.68. But bottom line, we had a setup. It hit, it held, it triggered, and let me show you what the potential upside target is. You just grab the high to the low for any trend trade setup, because that's where we're using the targets of 1272, 1618, and then beyond that, 2618. We do see the 1272 met quite a bit, and sometimes the 1618 This you won't see as often, so anytime you get to the 1272 extension, it's a really good idea to start trailing up stops because many moves do tend to terminate at extensions of prior swings. But this is how we come up with the setups. We run retracements, extensions, and projections. Please like and subscribe if you like the work, and I'll work on doing at least a couple of these a week.